ونستهديه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله تعالى من شرور أنفسنا وسيئات أعمالنا إنه من يهديه الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا. So inshallah we are going to start a new chapter tonight, chapter which is about times when prayer is forbidden, the prohibited times to pray. SubhanAllah, it is something actually very great to think about it, which is, or the goal of salawat, or the purpose of salawat, is to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made some, like subhanAllah, times for salawat forbidden to pray, prohibited to pray, even though it is something, even though it's something actually, yeah, I'm gonna do it. Okay. Even though the salah is the best ibadah ever, right? But subhanallah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He wanted to test our iman too, right? And to, like, we pray because we submit to Allah, right? So it's very important to know that some times it's prohibited to pray. What does it mean? What does it mean to be stopped from praying? Like to be stopped from fasting, to be prohibited to fast. You know, right? When? In Eid, it's prohibited to fast. SubhanAllah, it's haram. It's haram. Like if somebody fasts on the day of Eid, he is a sinful. He's not going to get any reward. Just to know the point of ibadat is to submit to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He says to you, fast, you fast. Don't fast. So you're not actually pleasing yourself or your soul. Huh? You're pleasing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So even the ibadat themselves, all the ibadat themselves, like read the Quran. We said no example of salah, as we are going to come to know. Read the Quran. There are times when reading the Quran is not permissible. When? Did you say when? And the Prophet ﷺ said, don't read Quran when you are. No. When you don't read Quran when you are. No. When you are. Take a shower. In the bathroom. Don't read Quran when you are in ruku' or sujood. In ruku' and sujood, it's not permissible to read Quran. Imagine it. In sujood is making sujood. Have to abide by the adhkar of sujood. Adhkar, dua. No, but if you say the dua from the Quran, you don't say it as a Quran. You say it as a dua, not as a Quran. You don't recite the Quran. He said, عليه الصلاة والسلام, لا تقرأوا أو نهى الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم عن قراءة القرآن في الركوع والسجود. He said, لا تقرأوا القرآن وأنتم راكعون أو وأنتم ساجدون أو كما قال صلى الله عليه وسلم. So he forbade. Of course you make dua. Dua is in Quran. Yeah, you make dua, but your intention is not to read Quran. It's to make dua. You use the verse of the dua of the Quran in your sujood as a dua. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة في الآخرة حسنة قنا عذاب النار ربنا. But you're not actually reading the Quran. You're using the dua of the Quran, right? But you need to recite the Quran. You didn't say Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. No, you didn't say that, right? So your intention is not to read Quran. You cannot do that. To just make dua. So mention Quran صوم, salah even, salah. Some, these times we're going to mention, inshallah, salah is not permissible to be performed. In general, as we're going to come to know. He said here, we have introduced above some of the rulings on the supplicatory prayers, and now we are going to point out that there are certain times at which prayer is forbidden. So that Jesus قال صلى الله عليه وسلم وَاعْلَمُوا أَنَّ خَيْرَ أَعْمَالِكُمُ الصَّلَاةِ. You should know that the best thing that you do, the best deed of your actions is salah. And he said, الصلاة خير موضوع. Salah is the best thing. Even still, there are certain times at which prayer is forbidden, as narrated to have been pointed out by the Prophet ﷺ. However, there are some exceptions concerning this judgment. Yes. He said, there are 5 times at which Salah is forbidden. Now focus, 5 times, okay? 5 times at which Salah is forbidden. First, he said, من طلوع الفجر الثاني إلى طلوع الشمس. First time starts from the second time of dawn. What does it mean? Not of dawn. No. What does it mean? Second. The factual time of Fajr. Because Fajr, there's Fajr Kadhib and Fajr Sadiq, the fake, which is not actually real Fajr. But this light will be all of a sudden in the horizon, right? But it's gonna vanish after that. It's gonna go away. I'm gonna see darkness again, right? This is not Fajr. This is time, You can pray night prayer. You can eat suhoor if you are gonna fast. All this time is not Fajr, right? Almost like before the real Fajr, almost 30 minutes, sometimes 45 minutes. It depends, right? He said from the factual time, the time of Fajr, which is the real time, that when you see that this time, you stop eating. If you are gonna fast, you are going to pray Fajr now. Fajr is due, right? When the Fajr is due, right? He said. So this time starts from the second time of dawn to sunrise. So what do you mean? You're not gonna pray Fajr? No. He speaks about what? Yeah, after you pray Fajr. قال صلى الله عليه وسلم عليه الصلاة والسلام say صلى الله عليه وسلم إذا طلع الفجر فلا صلاة إلا ركعتي الفجر. said فإذا طلع الفجر فلا صلاة إلا ركعتي الفجر. Which means when the dawn breaks, no prayer is to be performed except the 2 rak'ah of the Fajr prayer. Means the Sunnah of the Fajr. Sunnah of the Fajr. You only pray for Sunnah al-Fajr, right? And then you pray Fajr. So you don't pray after Fajr in Salah, right? Because this is something forbidden. Only Sunnah al-Fajr.
What about Tahiyat al-Masjid that people pray after?
Now we're going to mention these exceptions. These are the exceptions that we are going to mention after that. Now he speaks in general, right? Speaks in general, and he speaks about this tawwa, which has no reason, which has no reason. Tawwa, which is you pray because you want to pray, no reason for salah. This salah which is not permissible to be done, right? To be performed. This hadith was narrated by Ahmad, Abu Dawood, ويعني الترمذي, hadith Abdullah ibn Umar radiallahu anhuma, that we mentioned that. So therefore, when the dawn breaks, after Fajr, one shouldn't perform any supererogatory salah except the 2 rak'ah of Fajr, right? Let's finish the 5 times first, and then we're going to explain the exceptions. The second time starts from the time of sunrise until the sun reaches the height of a spear in one side above the horizon. This is the time you see from the sunrise till the duha time, which is almost 15 minutes. Right? It's the first time, and the second time they are connected together now. Right? First time starts after Fajr till sunrise. Right? And the second time starts from the time of sunrise until the sun reaches one speed, which is the time of duha. Right? Huh?
But why they're separated? Like why there's two types?
Yeah, because there are actually two rulings and two different hadith, right? So the first time has a separate hadith, and the second time has a separate hadith to prohibit both of them, right? And there are two rulings for that. And there is one time which is more like hated or prohibited to pray, which is the second time. Second time after sunrise till the time of duha, right? This time is more prohibited, more forbidden to pray.
What when you miss the Fajr?
We're going to come to these exceptions, all these exceptions. Just I want to finish, just to put it in your mind, the map of the third time starts from the time when the sun is at its height, at midday, until it passes over the meridian. Like we said before, almost 5 minutes before Dhuhr. 5 minutes before Dhuhr. Right? This time is known as the time when shade stops. The shade of everything stops, means it doesn't increase nor does it decrease until it starts moving toward the west. And he mentioned hadith عقبة بن عامر رضي الله عنه قال 3 ساعات نهانا رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم أو 3 ساعات نهانا رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم أن نصلي فيهن وأن نقبر فيهن موتانا حين تطلع الشمس بازغة حتى ترتفع وحين يقوم قائم للغروب حتى تغرب. حديث رواه مسلم. This hadith is so important to me. Uqba ibn Amr narrated, there are 3 times at which Allah's Messenger ﷺ forbid us to perform salah or bury our dead. Means to bury our dead. To bury janazah, right? Because you compare if somebody dies and it's better to wait, right? But if you cannot wait and you want to actually bury him, if it's emergency, you can bury him. But you speak about janazah now. He said first, when the sun begins to rise until it's fully up. Right? This first time. First time here in this hadith. Which time that we have mentioned? The first time here in this hadith. Which time in the sequence we have mentioned now? Which is the second time I've mentioned. So it's different hadith now, right? So in this hadith, the Prophet he mentioned the time of between shuruq and duha, right? He said, حين تطلع الشمس بازغة حتى ترتفع. Right? He didn't mention this hadith the first time, which is that after Fajr till sunrise. He mentioned when sun begins to rise until it's fully up. Right? This is the first time. He said, he forbade us to pray. The second time in the hadith, when the sun is at its height at midday until it passes over the meridian. We said this before though, right? And we said that what does it mean, the sun? We explained before the sun when it rises, right? When it starts, the shade is like very small, right? Very, very small. And then the sun, like this is actually the horizon, right? The sun starts from here. You see the sun comes up. If you look into the the ocean, right? Sun comes up from here. You see the sun comes. Now, once it starts or begins, it's haram to pray, right? Then you look to the horizon, you see like one spear, like in your eyes, between the sun and the surface of the earth, whether it's sea or land, right? So one spear in your eyes like that. You know, the spear that you put. So once you see the sun is almost one spear or two, it depends, right? Start from one. Now you can pray Allah, huh? Right? It takes almost 15 minutes to go up from this horizon from the beginning till this point, and then now the shade starts to to increase, right? And then and it goes up and up and up. Then it comes to the middle now. Now it's in like what? Yeah, the meridian. Right now it is almost in the middle of the midday now, right? So when it comes to this point, now the shade will stop for a few minutes. These few minutes, like almost like 5 minutes. And then again, what will happen? The shade will start decreasing again. Huh? So we say the time of Dhuhr starts when the shade is
one time or two times.
when the shade is exactly similar to the object, right? Similar to you. This is the beginning of the time of Dhuhr, right? If you are standing here, once you see your shades exactly like you, now this is the beginning of what? This is the beginning of what?
Time.
Really?
No, that's the.
When the sun starts, there is no shade. This is the beginning of Dhuhr. Till it's gonna continue to increase, right? Till the sun becomes your size, man.
Your size.
Your size. Now this is the end of the time of Dhuhr. And then when the sun becomes similar to you, exactly, now this is the beginning of time of what? Asr. Wow, what's going on, guys?
So isn't it the other way?
What other way? Like the Dhuhr time, we said there is no shade at all.
No shade at all. That's when
For 5 minutes.
The prohibited time.
5 minutes, yeah, prohibited, 5 minutes. And then when the shade starts now the Dhuhr time, when the shade starts to increase, the shade, the Dhuhr time, you see the shade is very small. It's not similar to the object. You got it?
I suppose I'm 8 feet.
I thought the size.
My size.
You are 8 feet. You see this the almost the Dhuhr starts when you are like almost maybe a little than 1 feet.
And Zohr starts.
Now Dhuhr starts. And then it keeps, this is the time of Dhuhr, till it keep going up, increasing, till it becomes exactly like you. When it becomes like you exactly, now at the end of the time of Dhuhr.
I'll check it tomorrow.
Okay.
Yes.
The end of the time of Dhuhr, you check it out. The end, put a stick. Put a stick and you can put a stick in the sun. You would see when you put a stick in the sun, the time of prohibition, you barely, you don't see any shade, barely, like very small. And then once shade starts to increase, now you start praying Dhuhr. So increasing, this is that, now this is that stick, increasing, and this is similar to it. Like you put the stick down, exactly, similar to the object, this any object, right? Now this is that, once it becomes similar,
End of Dhuhr
the time is over,
and beginning of Asr.
and beginning of Asr. Based on according to the Shafi'i, Malik, Shafi'i, Ahmad Hanbal. Abu Hanifa is the only one who said otherwise. He said, no, you keep praying Dhuhr till the shade becomes twice, increasing more, twice. Because as you see, the Ahnaf, the Hanafi, they actually have different timing, and these actually, so the Asr, they delay Asr, because they believe the Dhuhr time is actually still is still actually going on, right? Till the shade becomes twice, not once, twice, not similar, twice,
What they give,
double.
what
Huh?
they give the evidence for that?
No, they actually have a weak evidence, weak hadith. Because of that, we say the most correct view, right? Which is the view of the other madhab, which says no, it ends by the time that the shade becomes similar to you. So now we said this is the time of Dhuhr. It's haram to pray before this time of Dhuhr. The last in the hadith, he said, and when the sun draws near to setting until it sets, draws near to setting, like it's not it's like close to the setting, right? Huh?
Once clear up.
No, there's no. It's like close to setting. They said like almost the sun becomes yellow, right? Huh? The other hadith becomes the sun becomes yellow. Huh?
Or it becomes food.
The sun becomes yellow, right? And you see the it becomes like yellowish, right? And you see the sun, and then
Orangish.
it's different colors, guys. I said the hadith said حتى تصفر. Hadith said اصفرار الشمس. اصفرار means becomes yellow. This is the hadith, right? The yellowness. You see the yellowness of it. Huh? So this color has different levels, right? So it's still yellow. Hadith is Sahih Muslim. So now the fourth time. Now we mentioned how many times? 3 times, right? After Fajr, and then we're going to come to the last one, by the way. But the hadith is this. We mentioned hadith before the fourth time starts from the time of Asr until the sun sets. Now there's one more thing here. Now after Asr till the sun sets, there's another time, right? حديث صحيح البخاري ومسلم قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم لا. Look, this hadith actually combines between the first and the second times and the third and fourth and fifth. So the one which is in between, which is the third, is only before Dhuhr. This is separate. You have now, if you can say 3 times of prohibition, 3 times. The first and the second are connected, right? From Fajr, after Fajr till Duha. Connected from after Asr till Maghrib, right? Right? So he said, رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم لا صلاة بعد الفجر حتى تطلع الشمس ولا صلاة بعد العصر حتى تغرب الشمس حتى تغيب الشمس. No prayer should be performed after Fajr prayer until the sun rises, and no prayer should be performed after the Asr prayer until the sun sets. Right? Hadith in Bukhari Muslim. The last time we mentioned already in the hadith, he said, but he's going to mention. He said, the fifth time starts from the time when the sun starts setting until it sets. He said, why? Because he actually differentiated between the first and the second and the fourth and fifth, right? After Fajr, we mentioned the hadith, right? لا صلاة بعد الفجر. Okay? So the time which comes after Fajr, you can pray in this time. What? You can pray Fajr. If you didn't pray Fajr, you can pray Fajr, right? Huh? So if somebody wakes up before, like 5 minutes before sun rising, sun rising, right? He's gonna pray, right? He's gonna pray. He's gonna say, oh, because it's for everybody. This is an individual. This is the difference now. This is an individual prohibition. Like if you pray Fajr 6 o'clock, you finish Fajr 6:20. You finish Fajr, right? After 6:20 till sunrise, it's haram for you. Somebody else prays Fajr 6:20 and he finishes 6:30. He can pray still. It's haram for you because you already prayed. It's not for him because he can pray. You got it? So it's haram for those who already prayed Fajr. Okay, somebody prayed Fajr and he didn't pray Sunnah before Fajr. So now he can pray Sunnah after Fajr. Hadith said that, right? But so for him, he's going to pray Sunnah after Fajr. Because the Hadith one day, the Prophet ﷺ, he saw a man praying after Fajr. After they finished Fajr, right? Jama'ah. He saw him praying Sunnah. He said, Fajr Arba'a, do you pray Fajr for Rak'ah or what? He said, Ya Rasulullah, our two I made before Fajr. So now I make them up. He didn't say anything, which means it's okay. Which means it's okay. So if you miss Fajr and you comment while they are praying Fajr, of course you don't pray Fajr. Like some people, they go and pray Sunnah. The Imam is praying. It's not right. That's not correct. Allah Salah, there is no Salah valid. إذا أقيمت الصلاة قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم إذا أقيمت الصلاة فلا صلاة إلا التي أقيمت. So there is no other Salah except that one already started. So if you pray, you prayed Fajr and then you didn't pray Sunnah, you can pray Sunnah after that. You can pray Sunnah after Fajr, right? Somebody else prayed Sunnah before Fajr, you cannot do it. So now you got the difference? For you, it's okay because you missed Sunnah. For him, it's not okay. Okay. Because you have reason not to pray. Or you want to pray with him to give him Jama'ah reward. This is your intention. You're not praying like that. No. You already prayed Sunnah, but you want to give him the reward of Jama'ah. Can you do that? Why not?
You already made it.
You
You
already made it, but now your intention is to pray to give him the reward of Jama'ah.
So for you, it's nothing.
For me, it's nothing.
Yes, after Fajr, you can't.
Okay, you said you can. Okay, now we have a hadith. We have the hadith. Look, anything we say, we have to say the why, right? Because as you said, you are sticking to the general ruling, so it is okay. General ruling, which is no salah. Now we said there are many exceptions. These exceptions have another evidences, right? We call it exceptions. Exception means exceptions, right? So now the Prophet ﷺ, one day a person he entered masjid and he needed to pray Fajr, right? He didn't pray Fajr, right? So the Prophet ﷺ, he asked the Sahaba who likes to give him who likes to give him a charity. Charity means to pray with him, to give him reward with Jama'ah. And instead of letting him praying alone, you just go and join him and let him pray with you, right? So instead of getting one reward, you're gonna get it's gonna be multiplied to 27, right? Degree, right? 27 degrees. So he said, in the narration, Abu Bakr Siddiq, he's one who went. He went with this man and he prayed with him. And of course, he had prayed before with the Prophet. But he only prayed with him to do what? Yes. As a kind of charity, it can be done. But somebody without any reason he wants to pray like that, no. We said no, it's not right. If there's a reason for you to pray, you pray. Okay. And then the second time now, the Prophet ﷺ said he forbade, like vehemently, he said, don't pray because this is a time when the disbelievers prostrate to the sun. And the sun rises between the two horns of the devil. Okay, look to this now. So, subhanAllah, reason not to pray. This is specific to the second time, by the way. Now, this is something related to the second time only, which is what? When the sun rises, it rises from between the two horns of the devil. And the disbelievers make sujood to the sun. So don't do like them. Don't imitate. Even if you pray to Allah, but subhanAllah, don't imitate them. Imagine.
Some people, they wake up late they have few minutes. So is there any criteria where you need to tell yourself
Few minutes before what?
before the ending of Fajr time? Yani,
So they have to.
sunrise.
Huh?
Like the sunrise.
Before the sunrise.
Before sunrise, let's say I have 5 minutes. I don't have enough time to finish my salah.
You have 5 minutes. Once you start salah, if you start salah, قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم: من أدرك من الفجر ركعة قبل أن تطلع الشمس فقد أدرك الفجر. One ركعة فجر before the sun rises, he catches. He actually does it.
So you should have enough time to at least do one rak'ah.
If it's one rak'ah, like at least make sure that you finish one rak'ah. If you do that, alhamdulillah, now you already prayed on time. You would have be given the reward of praying on time.
Some people go back to sleep. They say, "Oh, it's time for sunrise, or it's prohibited now."
It's not still prohibited. You said he has at least time to pray one rak'ah. If you have time to pray one rak'ah in time or on time inside before the sun rises, of course, now you do it because you will get the reward of praying on time.
So he is to complete 2 rakah, right? But
Yes,
one
of
rakah
course, yes.
will be the time, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
One rak'ah is the limit.
Yes. So what at least he finish one rak'ah, and of course he continue. Of course he's not going to pray one rak'ah. So he's going to continue, but even he doesn't care about if the sun rises after while he is praying the second. Of course, he starts salah before the time starts, right? Before the sun rises. So now you know the difference between the first time of prohibition and the second time. Second time is actually being asserted to be haram, emphasized on its prohibition, because it has another reason, which is imitation the disbelievers. Huh? Who actually do that, right? So don't do like them.
Some people rush in praying duha.
Hmm?
They say it's time already.
Let them rush. It's not duha. It's not acceptable. And it's haram. Unless, at least to wait for 10 minutes. And it depends, by the way. Like winter is different from summer. Summer you just wait almost like 15, 20 minutes. Huh? Winter sometimes yes, maybe sunrise like sunrises fastly, so maybe 10 minutes would be enough. Huh? Right? So but from 15 to 20 minutes you're good. You're good to pray duha after the sun rising, right? And if you just want to go outside and look to the horizon, if you have a chance, go and look to the horizon and just look. Huh?
So once you say the Zohar time, finish.
Brother Sajjad, what's his name? Sajjad? Sajjad. Okay. Because you had a question, I just remember. Now, if you just because there's no time actually to delay anything, you have to finish.
You just woke up, just sun rising time. Can you pray that time?
When you wake up after,
Just woke up because you're sleeping, and you just wake up. The sun is rising.
okay.
Can you pray that time?
So now the time of between sunrising and duha,
Yes.
like you wake up almost 6:36.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Now wait. Now you have now because it happened. The Prophet ﷺ, when he overslept when he was on journey, right? And he woke up after the sun already rised. So what did he do? As he said to the Sahaba, move on, don't pray here, move on. And then he like walked for a few minutes, and then he commanded Bilal to make adhan and to make and he prayed sunnah, and then he made it. So that don't pray in this time. Don't pray in this time.
But Rasulullah didn't wait for that time, that 6:56 like this. No.
He waited till the sun already had risen. He waited till the sun had risen already, right? And he prayed. So he didn't actually pray before that, right? He prayed Fajr at the beginning of time of Duha. At the beginning of Duha time, right? What he did.
So when Zohar time finished, when you say the shadow is one, at the same, the Asr starts. So you cannot pray Zohar then?
After Asr?
No. Once like 1:30 we pray, and 2 o'clock Asr starts.
2 o'clock Asr starts? What
Like
2
you say
o'clock?
one time, the whole like my 8 feet. 8 feet is the shadow, right? After 8 feet, Asr starts.
Okay.
So you cannot pray then Zohar.
After Asr.
When the time Asr starts,
So you pray Dhuhr after Asr. I mean, that's what you mean. When Asr time is due, you pray Dhuhr.
like
You mean, your question is, can you pray Dhuhr after the Dhuhr time is over?
yeah,
This is your question? Why should you do that?
you missed the prayer.
You missed it? Or intentionally you do it?
You missed it.
You missed it, you missed it. If you missed it with with an excuse, you overslept or you were a traveler, so now you pray after, of course, you pray Dhuhr after that. Okay?
You have to make
Then
up
you're
for
gonna do qada.
Yeah, you wake up, you said you slept now, right? You overslept, and then you woke.
Asr starts here 5:30.
Okay, no, forget about here, my friend. Forget about it. About the time of Asr.
4:30, 3:30, I can't pray. Zohar. You can pray. But qada,
Brother, just now Asr starts
4:16.
here 4:16.
Okay.
Okay, this is the time of Asr. This is the end, the last time of Dhuhr. 4:15, the last time. Asr starts 4:16. Now you woke up after this time, right? Is your question?
Okay.
This is your question?
My question was the shadow. So
What the shadow?
the like
So, I think it
Your
is
question
trying to
is,
say
why did you
that-
read the Salat Zuhr first?
But the shadow is a sign of the Asr time. It's a sign of time. Why do you care about shadow now? Now we said the shade refers to the Asr time or Dhuhr time. So once when this sign is there, that's an indication that the Asr time starts. Whether people make adhan or don't pray Dhuhr, Asr time starts, that's it. You get my point? Like the Dhuhr time ends whether people starts adhan Asr or not. You get the point? Now this is how the Dhuhr time starts and it ends 4:16. Why did we say the end of it? Because the shade now starts to become more than the
More mystic signs.
huh? Like actually more than the size of the object, right? Now this Asr time starts, right? So when you ask me now question, you say, can I pray Dhuhr after the Asr time starts or no, right? This is a great question. You got it? This is a question, right? This is your question?
Yes.
Can you pray Dhuhr after Asr time? Haram to do that. It's haram to do that intentionally. But if you unintentionally missed the Dhuhr time, unintentionally, you forgot or you overslept and you wake up, of course you have to pray Dhuhr once you wake up. Once you wake up, you have to pray Dhuhr.
it has to be
Even after the Asr time starts, even 4:30, 5 o'clock, right? Same. You have to once you wake up, and after you pray Dhuhr, you pray Asr. You got it? So you can't pray Dhuhr even after the shape becomes twice, of the object. You can't if you have an excuse. But without an excuse, it's haram. Hopefully, I'm clear, right? It's clear. Okay. So now we mentioned the first time of second time of what do you call prohibition, and then the third we of course mentioned, and the fourth also after Asr, hadith after Asr, and the fifth the same reason hadith said because also the disbelievers make sujood to the sun when it sets, and the sun sets between the two horns of the devil. So don't also pray when, like the time when almost the sun is setting, right?
Like right before Maghrib, what is
Right before Maghrib. But if someone, again, this is a good question. Someone, he slept over, he overslept, and he wakes up, he wakes up, say he woke up after like Asr,
few minutes before Maghrib?
before, few minutes before Maghrib, can he pray Asr?
What's the ruling on that? Yeah.
Can he pray Asr? Like you woke up now 5 minutes before Maghrib. Can you pray Asr?
Yes.
Yes, because why? Why is it yes?
You have valid excuse.
This is
The
the
Prophet
first
so
Because this is actually a time for Asr also when necessity. قال صلى الله عليه وسلم من أدرك من العصر ركعة قبل أن تغرب الشمس أدرك العصر. Whoever catches one rak'ah of Asr before the sun sets, he catches Asr. Same, mashallah. Exactly like that. Like Fajr, right? So now from this hadith we realize, okay, Asr time can be, if you have an excuse, can be still performed even before Maghrib, few minutes before Maghrib. The same ruling will be applied if you catch one rak'ah before the adhan of Maghrib for the sunset, now you catch it. Now you catch the Asr. You got it? Got it? But if you do that without an excuse, you would be praying on time, but you would be sinful. If you delay Asr time to this time, after the sun becomes yellow, till the sunset, this time, you would be sinful. If you do that without an excuse, you would be sinful. Right? It's very important to know, right?
is it for all kind of prayers or only for the first?
It's what?
Is prohibition only for the obligatory prayer or all kind of prayers?
It's prohibited to do any. No, we say it's prohibited to pray any salah without a reason. What did you understand?
No, my question is prohibition is on.
I can hear anybody, huh?
No, I'm telling that can I do the sunnah in the prohibition time?
Sunnah?
Yeah.
Which is sunnah?
and
Any sunnah.
In sunnah, what are we saying right now? It's haram. This is actually, we say it's haram. It's prohibited to pray any prayer with no reason. The only prayer that you can pray, the fard. Like if you wake up, you have to pray for it. You wake up 5 minutes before Maghrib. What did you do? Wait till Maghrib starts and then you pray Asr? No, go ahead and pray Asr now, right away. But it's haram time. It's haram time for those who pray to Asr already. But for you, and it's also haram time for those who delay it like intentionally. But for you, you have an excuse. You have to pray. Even if you delay it intentionally and then you pray, we say you pray, but you would be sinful. You would be sinful, right? So don't delay it intentionally, right? You got it now? Hopefully this is like very delicate just to understand, but inshallah you got it, right? So, but any other salah with no reason, unless you enter masjid after Asr, you prayed Asr somewhere else and then you came to the masjid here before Asr, before Maghrib, and you want to sit down 30 minutes before Maghrib. We say yes, you can pray 2 rak'ah of masjid. This goes right? You can do it. You prayed Fajr at somewhere and then you come to this masjid and you want to pray Sunnah, Tahiyat masjid before sun rising. Yes, you can pray Sunnah because it has a reason. You're not praying like without any reason. No, you have a reason to pray. The prohibited salah is to pray without any reason. This is actually prohibited. This is forbidden, right? But you have a reason for salah, yes. As we mentioned, you want to pray with somebody to give the reward of jama'ah or whatever. This is a reason to. And just to finish here, he said it's actually permissible for one to perform the 2 rak'ah of tawaf. It's also something. Before this, he said the Muslim should know that it's permissible for one to make up for missed prayer as at such forbidden times. It's like missed it, you can do it in these forbidden times too, right? That this is based on the hadith If anyone misses a prayer out of oversleeping or forgetfulness, he must perform it once he remembers. من نام عن صلاة أو نسيها فيصليها إذا ذكرها. Once you remember the salah, you pray it, regardless which time. Right? Okay. حديث صحيح البخاري ومسلم. Also permissible for one to perform 2 rak'ah of tawaf. After the tawaf, there's 2 rak'ah, right? At any time. Why? Because you mentioned this before, you remember? قال صلى الله عليه وسلم لا تمنعوا أحدا طاف بهذا البيت أو صلى أية ساعة من ليل أو نهار. He said, don't prevent anyone from tawaf, right? Circumambulating. Yes, tawaf this house means around the house, and from performing prayer any moment he desires, by day or by night. This is exceptional case when you go to Umrah or Hajj, or even at you are at Mecca. You can pray anytime. Only in Haram. Right? He said, just to finish, he said here, because tawaf is permissible, tawaf is anytime permissible. That doesn't stop. So also the 2 rak'ah after tawaf, same. He said here, look, this is the end of it. He says, this is regarded as a permission for, okay. He said, according to the most acceptable opinion of scholars, right, it's permissible at these times to perform salah that have special causes, such as funeral prayer. We said, if you need, right? Huh? Yes. He said, Tahiyat al-Masjid, right? And Salat al-Kusuf, eclipse prayer, the eclipse, right? It happens. There are legal proofs supporting these permissibility, which are considered specific exceptions to the general rule. Who was asking about the ruling? This is actually Ayub. So now this is said now, these are actually specific exceptions to the general rule of forbidding performing salah at such times. Thus, forbidding performing prayer at such times means it is forbidden to perform salah with no special reason. Like you want to pray. What? No, I want to pray. No, don't pray. It's not right. Unless you have a reason. You enter masjid, you want to pray Tahiyat Masjid. Anytime you pray, even before Maghrib. But if it's like 1-2 minutes before Maghrib, you can stand up. You don't want to sit down. You can stand up. Okay, you can wait. Don't sit down. But if you need to sit down before Maghrib, you pray at Masjid and sit down. Right? He said here, accordingly, it's not permissible to perform a supplicatory prayer which has no specific reason. Furthermore, it's permissible to perform the 2 supplicatory rak'ah of the Fajr prayer after Fajr. We mentioned it, right? After Fajr, you can pray 2 rak'ah after Fajr still. It's also permissible to perform the 2 rak'ah supplicatory prayer of the Dhuhr prayer after performing Asr. We mentioned it, remember? Now we finish Asr. And you remember, I didn't pray the Sunnah of Dhuhr. Can I do it after Asr?
Yes.
We mentioned, we didn't attend the hadith last. We said yes, we said the authentic hadith Salama. Forgot, guys. We said when she saw the Prophet praying after Asr, right? It's like Muslim. And she sent somebody, she sent her servant to ask, and then she said, Ya Rasulullah, these 2 rak'ah, he told her, I missed these 2 rak'ah of Dhuhr, now I make them up after Asr. Right? So you can make up the 2 rak'ah that you missed them of Dhuhr. You can make them after Asr. Yes, you can make them after Asr. That's what happened by the Prophet. So this is based on the fact that he made up for the 2 rak'ah of the Dhuhr prayer, means the Sunnah, after Asr prayer. Now we finish this chapter of the prohibited times, and we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to, inshallah, like many details we can inshallah discuss next time. جزاكم الله خيرا.